obviously had quite a few clubs interested you in the summer. Was it Norwich City's style of play and the way Daniel Farkas likes to play that possession football that made you want to come here?
Yeah, it was numerous things. Obviously, I played against Norwich a few times. The club is an extremely well-run football club. That's no secret. What Stuart, the owners, the manager, and all the staff have built here in terms of infrastructure is phenomenal. And it was the whole project. I obviously read a lot. I do my research. I read that the team last year I think the phrase was got sent into war without a gun, and that the club had sort of already pre-prepared for this, and that with the aim and the knowledge that if we get up this year that we'll be in a much better place to compete. And I picked Norwich because I'll be honest, I looked at the teams, I thought we had the best chance of getting out the league and getting back in the Premier League, which of course is the place that everyone wants to be. So it's quite a simple decision. As part of that, the way the manager wanted to play, his philosophy, is something that I knew I'd enjoy. It's something I wanted to be a part of, and I think I can thrive under, and I also think I can learn a lot and improve under.
Like you mentioned, you began your career off at Middlesbrough Academy as a defender. Was there any players around at that time who you looked up to, and who did you follow as a youngster as a defender?
Yeah, at Middlesbrough, as a fan, as a young boy, obviously we had Gareth Southgate, was captain of the club in the club's best times. He was someone I looked up to. Later, I had the privilege of working with and meeting and getting to know really well. Fantastic person and fantastic professional, and now he's obviously reaping the rewards of that. And also Jonathan Woodgate was someone, another homegrown Middlesbrough lad, reached the highest level of the game and moving to Real Madrid, and he's been someone that was fantastic with me. I've been very lucky, I've had good teachers, them too. You know, my first Middlesbrough manager in the first team was Tony Mowbray, different type of centre back, brave as a lion, you know, wore his heart on his sleeve. And then when I really sort of grabbed my place in the team was under Aitor Karanka, who obviously was the Birmingham manager now, and was another centre back who played for Real Madrid. So I've been extremely lucky to have had the unbelievable experience in different stages of me progressing through my career. Some I've played with, some I've worked under as managers, and I've just tried to be like a sponge and take as much from all of them as possible. This manager obviously was not a centre-half, was a striker, but this will be no different. I'm sure there's still a lot I can learn from him.
Do you find that as you go through your career, even sort of like in your later 20s, you come to work under a new manager and you learn new things off them?
Yeah, 100%. It depends on your mentality. Firstly, you've got to want to learn, but I'm not too proud to pretend I'm the finished article or to pretend that I know everything. I certainly don't. I just see that as a wasted opportunity. So, you know, I like to think that I'm a bit of a sponge, and that anything anyone tells me, I'll try and take it in. I'll try and make myself the best version of Ben Gibson that I can be. And I've been very blessed to have had the people around me that I've had. And as I say, this is no different. The manager's been absolutely fantastic with me, and I'm sure he can add a lot to my game.
And moving on to Birmingham and the opponents, having worked under Aitor Karanka, last season Birmingham conceded 75 goals. I think they were only beaten by 4 other clubs in the Championship. This season they've only conceded 2 in 4 games. Does that surprise you when you look at Aitor Karanka as a manager?
It doesn't, no. He's I know 100% they'll be disciplined, organised, hard to beat. He's a winner. He knows he's tactically fantastic. He knows how to set teams up to get results. He's very detailed in his approach, and he's a top manager. He's obviously took a couple of the lads that I played with at Middlesbrough, and Adam Clayton and George Friend, and they're 2 players that he knows fit the mould of what he wants, and they're certainly 2 players that will help put those fires out. I can guarantee you they won't concede the same amount of goals this season. He won't let that happen, and as I say, they'll be very structured, very organised. The messages will be very clear, and it's going to be a tough challenge for us, but one that we're very excited to take on.
Yeah, you must be looking forward to facing some of your old teammates and your old manager on Tuesday night.
Yeah, definitely. I think, listen, you want to impress every opportunity, but when there's people you've played with, there's people you're friends with and have relationships with, you know, I want to show them that I'm still the same player that they remember me as, that I'm even better than what I was then. So I want to show them that I'm on to better things and that my career's going in the right direction. So the same with any game, you want to impress, but obviously there's that added incentive when there's a manager that's worked under you that you have a great respect for. As I say, I can't speak highly enough of him. He's a top person. I have no doubt he'll have a fantastic career as a manager.
You mentioned earlier about the desire to get back to the Premier League. Obviously, under Aitor Karanka, you had a good spell of in the Premier League in terms of that one season. A lot of games in that campaign. Perhaps weren't given the chance to prove yourself in terms of game time at Burnley in the Premier League. But how keen are you this season to push Norwich back towards the Premier League?
Yeah, that's what I'm here to do. I'll make no bones about it. I'm here to get promoted. I think the deal for me to become a permanent player is one that requires us to be promoted. So I love it here. I'm very happy here. It's been a great start, but I've never been someone who's just sat comfortable in my career. I want to succeed. I want the team to succeed. I want us all to be happy doing our jobs, and the only way that's going to be the case is if we're at the right end of the table getting promoted. The club is obviously a club that has sort of flicked up and down a few times, and we not only want to get promoted, we want to cement ourselves there. But for now, you've got to walk before you can run. We've got to focus one game at a time, and that is clearly the aim. But we have to take one game at a time and chalk off some wins and get the right end of the table. And with 10 games to go, that's when we can talk about hopefully getting promoted and things like that. But for now, we can't look past the next game.
Peel off his marker in the centre. Huckabee still has the ball. He's still running with it. He's still got it, Darren Huckabee, and shoots, and that's a fantastic goal!
Hi, I'm Ben Gibson and you're watching NR1 Live.
Good evening and welcome to NR1 Live from Norwich City against Birmingham City this evening. As you can see, the Norwich staff and players are arriving. There's Todd Cantwell back in the team and in the squad this evening. Emi Buendia. The two Mavericks are off and Daniel Farker as well. And there's the castle in the background in Norwich looking resplendent. Beautiful evening for football here in Norwich. Thankfully it's playing tonight rather than tomorrow because apparently there's a hurricane on its way. So tonight the flags aren't not flying very much. No rain. Perfect evening for football, Rob. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like I say, it's perfect evening. There's a bit of moist on the grass. No wind, no rain. Everything's set for a really good game.
And we're going to take a look at the team sheet straight away for Norwich City this evening. A couple of changes in this, Rob. We've got Cantwell is back in this evening. Straight back into the team. The window is shut, so that's obviously a big important for him. He's obviously been doing his stuff in training. He's been including the squad again today. But another talking point as well is obviously Timo Pukki back in the team for Stevenage tonight. Jordan Hugo still keeps his place as number 9, so that would mean Timo Pukki playing as a 10 essentially.
Maybe a deep line number 9, but what that gives you, it gives you sort of like a 9A player, which I call one's making the runs late, and you've got Buendia to find him a little astute passes. And then you've got the other guy who's a 9B, big, strong, powerful guy, that you've got the option to put balls in the box. So they've got both dimensions covered up there by playing those two players tonight.
And is that a role you think Timo Pukki's capable of playing as a number 10? Because it's a very different role to a lone striker, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he will be playing as that specific number 10.
He's not a creator, is he? He's not like you imagine a Messi or a number 10 to be that creative side.
No, that's your Buendia. That's when you want Buendia or Campbell's on the ball in that areas and whatever. But I think what happens there, if he does lie a bit deeper, then what he gets a bit of space then, rather than like going right onto the centre halves and whatever, like where he has to find that space there. If he's deep and he can come for deep, if he makes his runs times them well, which he does. He's very good at making runs and staying on side. And you've got Buendia and Cantwell feeding him. I think that could be a good weapon tonight.
And just in terms of Timo Pukki as well, is this a good option for him as well, because he is playing a slightly different role to kind of take the pressure off him a little bit to fulfil that goal scoring, because he's got number 9 who's playing in front of him now. He can be a little bit more of a creator and he's playing a different position, different role. It might actually give him a new lease of life for the season.
Absolutely, he's been like the focal point, the number 9 in the team and whatever. Like, so now you've got Hugo, you've got like a big, strong, physical player up there that's going to take the attractions of both the centre halves. So this guy's not going to be, he can be floating all around Hugo, get the second balls. You know what I mean? And if Hugo does his job in terms of not letting centre halves dominate the headers and whatever, like in all little knockdowns in that 5-10 yard area around the edge of the box. He's cute enough to find the space and pick those balls up, and we all know what a goal scorer he is. So I think it could be a new lease of life for him.
And you mentioned the other two players there, Todd Cantwell and Emi Buendia. Yeah. Todd Cantwell back in the side tonight, and he is one of those players that is creative. Would you see those two sticking to the traditional left and right side of it, or do you think they will switch quite a bit?
Me personally, I hope at least one of them comes in and plays in that 10 role in the centre, because I think they've both got tremendous ability. Like you said, they're Mavericks and whatever, like, but they are match winners in terms of finding that killer pass, the 10-yard pass that goes beyond the defence and whatever. Like, playing out wide, I think they lose some of their impetus.
So would you expect to see them quite narrow tonight then? And then the width is going to come from Xavi Quintilla and Max Aarons in the fullback position?
You've got two fullbacks who love getting forward. You know what I mean? I just hope that they do it in a way where it's not too congested in that number 10 area in the centre of the pitch. Where, I mean, they can both play out wide, but they just have to work it where one goes in, stays in there for a while, the other one stays out wide and whatever. But they must have been working on it in training. But over the games that I've watched, those two players are the players that are going to deliver the balls, the 10-yard passes beyond defences from the centre. You know what I mean? They're not going to deliver them from wide. The fullbacks are going to be delivering crosses into Hugo. These guys here have got to play in that 10 area, more central, where they're playing little astute passes to the runs of Pukki.
And you look at probably the lineup of Pukki and Hugo together. Now, let's go back 27 years, right? Mark Robins and Chris Sutton up front. Let's take a little look at this.
Bowen battling away. Fed in by Newman, and Robbins well forward, and Goss was well forward too, and Norwich have taken the lead. Jeremy Goss again. Unbelievable stuff. Well, when he scores goals, they're either spectacular or important, and that one's both. Mark Robbins makes a nuisance of himself on Mateus, whose header out is met on the volley by Goss, and Alman stood and admired that. That's how good the shot was. Rob Newman plays it in, Mateus backpedaling, heads it up into the air, and Jeremy Goss, just look at that.
That's when you know your luck's in it. It's an awful ball into the box like that from Mr. Rob Newman.
That's the only time I can say I've got a World Cup winning captain struggling.
You claiming that you can't claim the assist on that? Surely it's Mateus' header.
If he'd have missed it, Mark Robbins was there to tap it in, because there was a bit of backspin on that ball as well. You have a look at the round of the ball and whatever that's going back. So I can only say, Lothar Mateus was struggling with one of my passes. I'm happy with that.
And 27 years ago, Rob, how does that make you feel? I mean, what a night it was.
Mate,
I'm hugely proud to be there and fond memories of that evening, as you will have.
Yeah, no, it was great, and I think obviously we 25 years ago, 2 years ago, and that was a big occasion. But every year it gets brought up because it was such a big night. Not only for Norwich City, but I think for English football as well. You mean, like, for a club like Norwich to go in and perform and win in Munich is still spoken really, really highly
And
about.
still the only team to ever win in the
absolutely.
English team to ever won in that stadium.
In that stadium, and no one, because obviously they've got the Allianz now, and it will always stand in to be part of that, like, as you were as well. Like, you know, I mean, it's fantastic, and every year that goes by, you know, I mean, it's just, it doesn't get any weaker, the feelings that we had that night.
Yeah, well, we could talk about that all night, and we often do when we go out for a few drinks. We reminisce about that. But let's get back to the modern squad they've got now. And there's been lots of transfers this season, lots of players going out on loan, and lots of players out on transfers. We can see a list here of what has been done, what business has been done in terms of transfers out. Obviously, Ben Godfrey and Jamal Lewis going out for fees, 25 million, 15 million respectively. And then lots of loan players going out as well. Tim Close has obviously gone back to Basel. Tom Tribal's out. I can from when all his players here. That's a lot of players out now. This is something we've seen quite often from Norwich in recent years, isn't it? Neil Adams has been brought in specifically for that role, to take players out on loan and try and gain them that experience for those younger lads. Obviously not for someone like Tim Close, who's come probably to the end of his career, but those young lads, is it important? And why is it important to make these happen? Because back in our day, Rob, if you were sent out on loan, that's because you weren't wanted. As simple as that. You know, it's detrimental to your career, but it's seen differently now. And actually, Norwich have been forefront in making that happen. Yeah,
absolutely. These are the lads with potential that Norwich feel are going to be like a big addition to the squad in the years to come. Like you said, when we played, if we went out on loan, the club never wanted you. They sent you on loan for a month, and that was it. You never spoke to anyone at the club. What Neil's doing now, he's got a strategy in place, a structure in place, that he goes out and they sort of they pinpoint where they want to go. They put them into clubs.
That's the thing, it's not haphazard, is it? They're picking the specific type of clubs that they want these players to go out to.
Yeah, like I say, you go to a club, it's no good sending to a lad that hasn't got the facilities of the same as Colney or grounds the same as this, because they will go there and I don't think they will give it their all. You know what I mean? So Neil's job is probably to go out to see the training facilities, to see the medical facilities, to see the way they play, the style of play. So there's lots of things that Neil has to do now, and then what he has to do is saying, right, well, that player's right for that club, this player's right for that club. You know what I mean? So it's very important. But what happens now, I think, is Neil has a constant communication with them, and I think for the players to know that someone's watching their game, Neil can speak to them on a Sunday or a Monday and say, "How'd you do? I've seen what you did, this and that." Yeah. I think it makes the player that's on loan still feel wanted by the club. So it's an important role.
And Sebastian Soto's out at Telstar at the moment. You know, a club that Norwich have worked with before. Again, you know, what are the benefits to him? You know, because obviously the Norwich will still be watching him, but is it about the physicality of those leagues as well? You know the European leagues probably better than anyone does, Rob, in terms of players. So what are they getting from a club like that rather than staying or going out onto a League 1 or League 2 side?
Yeah, well, as we know, League 1, League 2 are very physical. You mean direct and physical. what you've got the Dutch leagues now. Basically, technically they're very good. So this guy needs to maybe improve his technical ability. He's not going to get kicked up in the air too many times. The pace of play is not going to be that great. So he can improve his technical ability. Like I say, the Dutch football is very good for that. If you wanted to get someone more aggressive, maybe send it to Germany. You know what I mean? Technically, again, you send someone to Spain, but the Dutch level is probably lower than the German and Spanish. So that is the next step for those players going there, and it's a great learning curve.
Yeah, and on the flip side, there's Premier League teams that want to send players out to Norwich on loan.
Yeah.
We've got Skip here, who's obviously been a big part of Norwich's season so far. Took a horrendous tackle at the weekend against Rotherham, but you know, you can see, I mean, he's only a youngish lad, but look at the size of him. So was it a case of Spurs wanting him to get that physical experience?
Absolutely. I mean, playing in the Championship is tough. Yeah, I mean, it is tough. This league is a good league with top teams. And for someone like Jose Mourinho to let this guy come out, because I think they highly regard him at Tottenham and whatever, they see Norwich as a good side for him to progress into Tottenham's side. And Tottenham are going to be one of the top 6 in the Premiership. So for them to let good potential players that they highly regard at Tottenham come to Norwich is testament to what Norwich have got themselves.
So is that a pat on the back to Norwich City then for the way they go about things? That the teams are willing, and the managers of that quality and the teams of that quality in the Premier League are willing to send their players out to Norwich?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I've just said about Neil doing the due diligence on teams in Holland. Teams that do the due diligence on Norwich as well, the way they play, the manager, you know what I mean, the way the club is run, the facilities. It ticks every box, you know what I mean? So why shouldn't they send someone here? Because they just come down from the Premier League wanting to get back up into the Premier League. So this is a great opportunity for Skip to show what he can do.
And let's dip back into history just a little bit again, because particularly Norwich and Tottenham have always had quite a good link. Because back to the day when with that European run, there was Ian Crook, John Polston, lots of players were coming from Tottenham to Norwich in that particular time, but not so much on loan. They were coming as signings rather than loanees.
Well, Tottenham like the Glenn Oddles and the Ricky Villas and Oddie Ardiles. So I mean, we were fortunate enough, like they were all here when I got here, but Ian Crook, Mark Bowen, Ian Colville, John Polston, great players and players that did really, really well for Norwich and whatever like. And so the link between the two clubs goes back a long way. And like I say, a new manager's coming to Tottenham, a top class has come in, like a manager as well, Mourinho. So to allow a player to come here means that they think a lot of Norwich.
Yeah, well, I'm really pleased to say we've got Kieran Dow now joining us on the line. Obviously one of Norwich's signings during the summer. Thanks for joining us, Kieran. First of all, how's the injury feeling?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. It's 4 weeks today since surgery, so on the mend, making progress every day, week by week. So hopefully we'll be back as soon as possible.
Good news. And we're just talking about the loanee side of football. And you're someone actually, you're someone who knows a lot about that. You've been to a few different clubs on loan over the years. What's that experience like? Because it's very different to signing for a club. Do you ever really feel at home somewhere?
I think by the end of it you do. But it's obviously, you're on loan, so you're going to go back to your parent club. But I had some great experiences on loan, like all different kinds of experiences, good and bad. But I feel like it's a great education for a young footballer.
And how does that affect you mentally then? Because you must be fairly strong because you're travelling around the country, staying in different hotels. I don't know if you're married and kids, but you're away from your family. That's a difficult thing to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I sort of compared it to when I first went on loan was at 19. It's like going to university and sort of getting your experience that way, living on your own and away from your parents and stuff. And I think I really benefited from it.
And we've heard a lot from new signings this season at Norwich about how well they fitted into Norwich and they love the place and how they're feeling here. What are your thoughts? I know what you're going to say because you certainly wouldn't tell the truth if you didn't like it.
No, it's been great. Yeah, it's a great club with great staff going right down from the owners to the ladies and gents in the canteen. I felt really welcome from the first day I walked in, and obviously with my injury being so early, I felt like a good place to be injured, if you can say that, with the physios and the lads have been behind me and supporting me.
And how frustrating is it for you at the moment to be injured and kind of, you've come into the side and you did well when you first got into the side, and to have that little knockback? I mean, again, you have to be quite mentally tough to get through these little setbacks, but you were playing well. Yeah,
it was a real sickener to happen so early on since I've signed here. But it's just about looking forward now and getting back fit as soon as possible, really.
Yeah, and getting back into the side and the way the team's playing at the moment, obviously Norwich have got the win against Rotherham at the weekend. Now, how do you see this team going on for the rest of the season? Because it's got some real quality in it, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. There's real strength and depth in all positions. I just felt that game against Rotherham was a great win for us to do it in the last minute. Like, the morale's been really high the last couple of days, and to go into this run of games now, Saturday, Tuesday, I think it'll stand us in good stead there.
And looking forward to the rest of the season, it's a long old time and things are very different this season compared to others. But are you hoping, and as we all are, that Norwich will be pushing up near the top, because they've just dropped out of the Premier League? They've basically kept roughly the same squad and added to that as well. Look, won the Championship the last time. Absolutely, that's the aim. I think when you look around our changing room, you'd fancy us against anyone in the division. It's just about getting that winning mentality back now, which is happening, and then we'll get points on the boards, as many as we can, yeah. Kieran, look, thanks very much for joining us. Hope the injury clears up soon enough and we see you back on the pitch. Thanks for joining us, mate. Nice one, cheers. So all players, when they come back from injury or they're in an injury period, at the minute, they talk about the momentum of getting the right results, and particularly in the Championship, it's important, isn't it? Because there's a lot of games, but you need to get on a run of wins. And Norwich has been an indifferent start, but they've got the win against Rotherham at the weekend. Look, you hope to now kick them on to better things. It was massive. The Rotherham result was massive. I mean, after the Derby game, probably didn't deserve to lose the Derby game, but they never played that great. But to win at Rotherham was massive. Because it's a tough place to go. Now they've got, out of the next 4 games, they've got 3 at home. This is where they've got really start to power and say, listen, we are one of the forces in this division. So 3 home games out of 4. The away game is Brentford, which is a tough game. I'm expecting, and I presume Daniel's expecting to get 9 points, and then after that little period of 4 games, then you can really say they'll be up in the top 4 or 5, and like I say, there'll be a power. And we've just seen some shots there of someone who's been really influential for Norwich so far this season, Xavi Quintilla, and it's come into the side, and actually we can look at his stats for crossing so far in the 4 top leagues of English football. He sits there in number 3 of in terms of deliveries into the box. That's a big change for Norwich, because generally, as we said in commentaries and as we said in NR1 Live before, Norwich like to play centrally, but actually they're getting some real width now and crosses into the box, and he's one that will do that constantly. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I remember going back to the Derby game, he put a couple of crosses in, early on, and Derby played 3 big, strong centre-halves, and it was like food and drink for them all day long. Hugo came on right at the death. One big header at the far post. All of a sudden, it's a different dimension. Now you've got someone there who's putting crosses in, but not only crosses, but good crosses as well. Max Aarons can do the same the other side. It's a fantastic threat, for an offensive play. Yeah, brilliant stuff. And another new signing, Ben Gibson, has joined the club so far this summer. Here's a little bit of what he thinks about his new teammates.
I'd go with Todd Cantwell, I think, in terms of his natural ability. His first touch, his ability to take the ball away from an opponent in tight areas has really impressed me. Without doubt, Christoph Zimmerman, absolute man mountain. To be fair, we've got a couple. Grant Hanley's an absolute monster as well, but Zimbo, I've never seen an athlete quite like it. Probably me or Emi Buendia, I'd say. Do you know what? It might be Grant Hanley, which might surprise a few. But I believe Grant, we haven't ended up in that many one-on-one races yet, but I believe Grant is absolutely lightning once he gets going. Definitely not Jordan Hugill. He's bottom and opposite end of the spectrum. So between Alex Tettey and Christoph Zimmerman, I'd imagine Zimbo is he's like the head pupil. He's like the star pupil, the prefect as they call it. So he does everything exemplary. I think me and Jordan Hugill have added a lot to this dressing room, to be honest. But who would I say? Kenny McLean. He's funny, very funny guy. I'll go Kenny McLean. I hope it's me. I could do with a career after football. So. You normally go with centre-backs. I think they think about the game a lot more, and I'd say any of the centre-backs that here could potentially do that, to be honest. Todd Cantwell, 100%, without fail. worst gear I've seen in a long time. He's a great advert for Puma. He's head to toe Puma every day, but some of the rig outs he comes in are nothing I've ever seen before.
Okay, 2 particular points I want to pick out on that, Rob. Okay, right. Managers, centre halves make good managers.
Definitely.
How did your managerial career go?
Sacked twice. Sacked twice, but I did do 18 months in each time, which is quite nice, a long time, as you will know at Leiston, like, you know what I mean?
Leiston, don't say Leiston.
Leiston,
yeah.
sorry, Leiston. But yeah, no, I agree with Ben. That was one thing that I did agree with. Centre house make the best managers.
And the other one, the quickest in the club, Grant Huntley. I mean, is that...
He did say, I believe. I believe it's Grant Huntley.
Do you think he was going to threaten to beat him up if he didn't say?
Arm wrestle, he did say Grant's quite tough, but centre half being the quickest at the club, you've got problems.
What about you? Were you pacey?
I never won a race in my life, as the viewers will know. The only one I did win, I was playing centre forward for Bristol City, ridiculously long time ago, and I outpaced Sam Allardyce.
Well, that's a claim to fame, isn't it? Big Sam.
Absolutely. Scored 2 goals that game as well. He's the only person I've outpaced. Never outpaced anyone else.
No one else.
Never got close to anyone. Never got close to outpacing anyone else.
Look,
even with a handicap.
It's about your knowledge, though, isn't it? Where you position yourself on the pitch. You didn't have to run, did you?
First 5-10 yards is in your head. Don't worry about that. If you can pass the ball, why you need to run?
Yeah, and he said about one of the funniest lads in the change rooms there was Kenny McLean. And when you're not in the side, it's important you have players like him around that as well, because he's not going to be a sulker. He's going to be someone who's still going to get in and around the players to G them up for the game. Well, look, he's a bit fed up there, but he's a good person to have around
absolutely.
the club.
And you got, in the last international break, he scored the winning goal for Scotland. And like I say, so he's been around the Scotland international team, and to come and not be in a championship side, so like says, I mean, he could have every reason to feel upset. But the way Ben was talking about him then, he's not. He looks a good pro, and that's what you need in the dressing room, because he will get his time. I think he's a massive part of the Norwich City squad. When he plays with his heart on his sleeve. So he's got a big part to play this season, and he knows his time will come.
And we saw Darren Eadie there as well. There's been a lot of talk about him in the summer, about him, is he the future Norwich City, and is he going to start the season? Yet, you know, you're sticking with Timo Pukki and Hugel tonight, but he's on the bench, and is it still at that age where he's going to flit in and out? He's still learning.
Yeah, still learning, still young enough to learn. You know, I mean, he's getting more minutes this season, so when he does, he has to make the most of those minutes. Show the manager what he can do. He's strong, he's powerful. He needs goals. All centre forwards need goals. You know what I mean? And like I say, you've got Pukki, who's an international striker. Hugel gives you that physical presence, what he probably doesn't. You know what I mean? So you're playing with two strikers, different types of strikers. So he's got to be ready for his chance, because his chance will come as well.
And just, I mean, I remember the very odd occasion I was substitute. I can't imagine you were sub very often, Robbie. Quite a lot. Okay.
Yeah,
but I used to hate it. If you were coming on as a substitute, that was, in terms of your fitness levels, it felt really weird. So to make an impression to come on for a short period of time is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, they're called impact
People
players,
expect you to be fresh, don't they? But actually, it's difficult.
Yeah. They're called impact. You could be classed as an impact player. You know what I mean? You could come on with your pace, and you could make something happen. Darren Eadie would come on and make something happen. I would come on when we were like hanging on for grim death, and I'd have to go in the centre half, and like we'd just concede the corner. You get on and just go and smack your head against each other and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? That was the only time I came on as sub. So there's impact players. Darren Eadie is an impact player for me.
Yeah, well, he's been a good one so far for Norwich.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, well, it was a decent win against Rotherham at the weekend. Let's take a look at the highlights.
He's going to find it tough today because that
Krul's kick has gone all the way into the penalty area for Ladapo to score for Rotherham, and inside 2.5 minutes it's Rotherham who lead. Miller's delivery in towards that crowd of players. It's bobbling around in there and needs to be dealt with. Down goes Carl Robertson, and a penalty has been given. A huge moment. Can Tim Krul save the Canaries? He can! It's a brilliant penalty save from Tim Krul. Ladapo went low to the goalkeeper's left, and Krul got down to it and parried it brilliantly. It was a City skipper will find Buendia. Laid off to Skip, up to Stiepermann. Clever touch to Buendia. One touch now on to Aarons, who's got a crossing opportunity from the right, and it comes, and it's an own goal by Michael Hickway. Running back towards his own goal. He was desperate to stop Jordan Hugel from getting there, and he's ended up turning the ball past his own goalkeeper before Hugel could get there. Michael Hickway could just turn it into his own net. Hugel's now come out to the right wing. He's been pushed off the ball. In goes Ollie Skip with a challenge, and Angus MacDonald as well. And it could be a red card for Angus MacDonald. It is. Shaven-headed, bearded, Crosses the ball in, and there's a stretch, and a defender gets there first. Buendia has been taken down. That could be a penalty. It is! We're entering the 5th minute of stoppage time. It's 1-1. Hugill sweeps his hair back, dries his hands on his shirt, runs up to the ball now, and puts the penalty in! And Norwich City are in front for the first time in this game with 95 minutes on the clock. It's Jordan Hugill's first goal for the club. And what does it mean to Norwich City? Well, Tim Krul has run the length of the pitch to get involved with the celebrations.
I mean, a massively important result, and Hugill there takes the penalty, and apparently there was Buendia wanted to take it, he earned the penalty. Hugill's give it, no, I've never missed.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Take it, and he's not missed, has he? You know what I mean? Like I say, and it was at the stage of the game where you think you miss it, and it's a draw. You know what I mean? So it was a massively important penalty.
And during that clip as well, you talked about how important that save was by Tim Krul, because it was massive, wasn't it? Because there's turning points in games which actually can change the face of a game, and that was it for you.
Yeah, well, we spoke about Pookie, we spoke about Hugill, Eadie, like the match winners and whatever. That's a bigger match winner than scoring a goal. You know what I mean? Like, he saves that. If he doesn't save that, it's 2-0. Game's probably over. You know what I mean? It was a big mountain to climb. You know what I mean? But he's been unbelievably good. You know what I mean? Since his time, and obviously he's worked his way back into the Dutch squad as well.
Absolutely penalty specialist as well. I remember in the World Cup they were bringing him on for the penalty shootouts.
Yeah, no, but you only had to look at him in the lockdown in the Premier League. You know what I mean? The saves he was making against top players and whatever. Like, he is a top class keeper, but he also seems to be a top class person to have in the dressing room, say about the Kenny McLeans and whatever. I bet he's a good one as well.
So in terms of that win then against Rotherham, and you win late on to make it 2-1, is that sometimes a bit more galvanising as a squad than it is to win a game comfortably 2 or 3-0? That the way it ended, the way it was penalty save, got the other end, score a goal, get a penalty, and then you win the game in added time with a penalty.
Yeah, I think so. You mean the game had every emotion, didn't it? You know what I mean, it had the save, had the tackle, had the sending off. You know, I mean, everyone was around, and quite rightly so, around the player, because it was a dreadful tackle. And to get the chance to score the winning goal with the last kick of the game, you've seen Krul. He's raced the whole pitch to get up to celebrate with the whole team. So it's massive. You know what I mean? Like you say, it's those things. When you say galvanise is the word, you know what I mean? Like, they have got solidity there as a team, as a unit, as a squad. You just hope they can bring that to here tonight, because if they do, they win the game.
Yeah, and 2 pretty experienced managers in charge of the side today. And we've got a head-to-head of Daniel Farke and Karanka, and you can see Karanka's stats are decent. You know, he had a good time at Middlesbrough, but he's an experienced manager in this league, isn't he? And he's got a good average against Farke. I mean, who do you see? Well, we know we want to come out on top today, but this is a tough head-to-head for Farke today.
Definitely, you know what I mean. Like you say, Karanka's been around, but he's been to some good clubs as well, and he's a good coach. But he's been around everywhere. Farke's been to one club. You know what I mean, this is his first club. I think Daniel Farke will have the edge of him, because Daniel Farke has got the better players.
And Hugill and Gibson have both played under Karanka as well. Does that play any part in the game today? You're playing against your old manager. They may not have got on with him so well at the former clubs.
Yeah, and then what they will have an insight is his mentality and how he approaches the game. So hopefully those two would have said to their teammates, saying, listen, they're going to be at us because this is the way the manager plays, or they're not going to be at us, they're going to sit off and let us play. So hopefully they will know, and that would have helped them in the preparation for the game.
Yeah, and of course, if you are a season ticket holder and you have your iFollow account set up, you can go and watch the match any moment when we leave you, and make sure you come back at half-time and full-time. If you're not, make sure you go to canaries.co.uk/iFollow, set your account up, and you can pay to watch this evening's game. So, Rob, big game tonight for Norwich. Follow a win away from home, they need to get home form winning as well.
Yeah, no, like I say, you mean 3 games out of the next 4 at home. You know what I mean? I'm expecting 9 points from those 3 games. Birmingham, Wycombe, Millwall, they should all, if they've got any aspirations to get to the upper echelons of the division, they have to win those 3 games in my book.
Well, fingers crossed for a follow-up to Rotherham during this game tonight. We'll see you at half-time. Enjoy the game.
been swimming at night. She been calling to me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she been underwater in the Indian Sea. I've been doing it right. Can't forget what you said. When you finish with you, baby, you should come and find me in the Sea of Cortez. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. She been living a dream. There's a blanket of cool water. She been cultivated in the space in between. Could be chasing a ghost, another creation of waves. With all the truth in my blue colors, she just give me something I could never replace. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. Something I could never replace. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea.
Tonight
guess it's only, only, only you. My grip, I know those things I can't find in your me. This ordinary life, this ordinary life, and the thrill of getting you in my life, it's all that's left to do. And to fall your I've been thinking of a place. I've been making my escape. I've been thinking of a place. I've been making my escape. I've been thinking of a place. I've been making my escape. There's a flicker of a light here. There's a sparkle of a sun dance on the sea. I listen to the palm trees. Just the melody of can from gentle breeze. Look out. I've been swimming at night. She's been calling to me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she's been underwater in the Indian Sea. I've been doing it right. Can't forget what she said. When you're finished with you, babe, you should come and find me in the Sea of Cortez. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. bit of cool water. She's been cultivated in the space in between. Could be chasing a ghost, another crease in the waves. With all the truth in my blue colors, she just gave me something I could never replace. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. pacing backwards again. So lonely, I feel like we're going backwards again. You're turning so slowly, we're pacing backwards again. Yes, it's only, only, only you. And I say I'm very satisfied with all that life, 'cause I get to give day to day little things that make me happy. And you turned up and threw a cup, and now I find I lost my nerve, I lost my grip, and all those things I can't find in your me. This ordinary life, this ordinary life, and the thrill of getting you in my life, it's all that's left to do. And to fall your
Well, there we have it. 0-0 at half-time, Rob. A decent performance by Norwich as well. I mean, as we probably expected, like it was against Derby, lots and lots of play, lots and lots of possession, but 2 or 3 really good chances as well. So they probably should be winning by now.
Yeah, no, really. You mean they all fell to Todd Cantwell? You know what I mean? Like I say, the first one was on the ground. Great strike, to be fair. He was on the ground, but should be hitting the target from the middle of the goal penalty spot area. And the second one, he threw face to the goalkeeper, tight angle, made the wrong decision for me. Gone for a shot, should have squared it.
Before those opportunities come along, we talked about how are they going to break this Birmingham side down, because when without the ball, you know, not in possession of the ball, they're sitting as a 5-4-1 essentially, very narrow in terms of these fullbacks coming right and defending this width, the 18-yard box again. Again, lots of teams have come to Carrow Road this season in particular. Know Norwich how they played in the Championship, almost worked them out a little bit. They know they like to come centrally. So how do you break that down? Because it's difficult, isn't it? You were saying how difficult it is.
It is. You mean because Hugo's up there, Pukki's up there. You've got like Cantwell coming into these spaces and Buendia there. You've got your 2 fullbacks high, 2 holding midfielders here, basically, and up here. So really, you've got how are those 4, Pukki, Buendia, Cantwell, and Hugo? How are they going to like do little link-up plays, little triangles? And to be fair to them, they have done some. And like,
we are making it look more difficult here. This is not to scale, just. But it got to give a sense of what it is.
That's what it looks like from up here. Yeah, I mean, at times that's what it looks like. So it's important for these sort of like to get spaces, but the space is here. And like I say, you want to get the spaces here. And I think Birmingham are just happy to sit in there. And I just think they do need to mix it up a bit, because Quintilla gets the ball hit like high up the pitch, and he's putting some great balls in, but they're like hard and low and whatever. Like, I mean, and if Hugo's not there, you know what I mean, they go through like to the other side, or the defender clears it. I just think mix it up a bit and hit some diagonals in, some balls into the box to Hugo, who's at the far post, and then Pukki can get around him for knockdowns. And then if the knockdowns, then all of a sudden the space creates space in here. Just one ball from that in the far post. But at the moment they're not doing that. They're looking to either play in here, get it wide, and whip balls in, which is fine. But you've got to have that plan B, second dimension football, really.
So is that a case of a team coming here, knowing what Norwich do, and for Norwich at the moment it's not maybe doing the right thing to how they're going to score a goal, but doing something different creates a movement from the Birmingham defenders to do something different, which then creates that space.
They have to do something to sort of like disperse these Birmingham players. 9 players, and we said one cross. There was 9 players, including the goal, with 10 players in the box. It's so difficult to play against. You know what I mean? And like I say, testament to Norwich. 2 or 3 times they got in, but that was 2 or 3 times out of about 20 times. You know what I mean? Now, how many crosses did the fullbacks put in from here? None. You know what I mean? 2 or 3 from up here. Change the game up. Make it more dimensional, like one direction. Far post to Hugo. It's old-fashioned, but it's effective, and Pukki can get around him then. The defenders are dropped. These ones might have to drop as well, but you get picking the ball up higher up the pitch.
And also, as what you said about when Birmingham, on the rare occasion, have got forward, then they give the ball away. You think it's a little bit slow from Norwich at times, because that's when they're disjointed. That's when they're out of position. That's when they've got to go quicker. Yeah,
Birmingham play them on the counter attack, and to be fair, their counter attacks have been caused by Norwich's poor decision or like delaying in receiving the ball and whatever. When you receive the ball in here, you know what I mean? I think it was Rupp, not so much Skip, but Rupp got the ball here, and there's Birmingham players all the way up the field there because they've made that is the time to do quick passes. You know what I mean? Not to delay, not to side. You've got to be positive with your forward passes, and it's either a ball into Hugo, maybe Buendia can get in spaces here. It might mean one of these 2 cheating a bit, so they get the higher at the pitch, because it was, you know what I mean, because Hugo and Cantwell, be fair to them, they're going back to help the defence out, which is great, but if one of them cheated a bit and then he gets the ball, it's a 10, 15-yard ball into an area where there's no one around him.
So just explain to us what you mean by cheating, because it's an easy thing to say. It's the term that gets used a lot. What does it mean? What does it mean? He's out of position himself. He's kind of...
Whereas they're probably too honest. You know what I mean? They're too honest. The manager say, listen, when we lose possession, you've got to get back behind the ball. You know what I mean? Like I say, these 8, rather than Pukki and Hugo, these 8 have got behind the ball. So get 7 behind the ball. Get 7 behind the ball, because there's still going to be 7v6. And this one here, when I say cheating, it means cheating's the wrong word for it, but it's sort of like not going back and defending. But when we win possession, they have got Rupp or Skip or even the defenders, whoever wins the ball, their first look is saying, right, who's had a little, so I'm not going back, I'm in this area now. One pass there, forward. But at the moment, Cantwell's going back. These are going back, even Pookie's going back at some time. These are getting on the ball, and it's like, it's just one on his own. Yeah. And like I say, then it's a case of these Norwich becoming a counter, but Birmingham have got some quick players, so they'll get back with him as well. So an early pass, one of these maybe, I believe Cantwell or Buendia, just take it in turns. Take it in turns. Just stand still sometimes. Stand still. When they're attacking, look at it, we win the ball back, bump, one pass, and that's when they're dangerous, in the air, unopposed.
And when we've talked about Norwich before, we've talked about the way they play. They're very much a team of, I think we saw it against Sheffield United here last season, where Sheffield United looked to pass into spaces and run the lines in between gaps, in between these defenders. Yeah. Norwich are very much ball into feet, ball into feet, ball into feet. They don't seem as much as other teams perhaps to try and look for those gaps in between the back fours. Because when they have done that, Cantwell's got in and they close things down, they do get occasions to get in. They're very much a possession-based team where they want the ball into feet all the time. So.
Yeah, and like Birmingham will go off this pitch saying, listen, if it's a 0-0 draw, Norwich have had 70% of the possession, so what? Yeah. You know what I mean? But how many times have they got in behind us? At the moment, in that first half, 2 or 3 times. So Birmingham will be really happy with the way it's gone. You know what I mean? Norwich has to find a plan, and I think that is mixing the balls into the box from deeper areas. You know what I mean? Playing quicker on the counter-attack when they win possession. Cantwell and Wendy are just staying further up the pitch when they lose possession, so they give him options straight away. Because you've got to have an option. Fair play to Rupp, I'm saying pass it quicker, but if he's got no one ahead of him that he can see, he wants to keep the ball. Yeah. And keeping the ball to him is left back, or we keep it past it this year. It's a 10-yard pass, but it allows Birmingham to recover.
Yeah, well, thanks for now, Rob. Now, I remember in the last home game we had here, we set up the Visit Tampa Bay challenge for the competition to win a holiday to Tampa Bay. You can still take part in that competition by going to canaries.co.uk/commercial/Tampa time. Now, if you remember the last time we were here, Rob, we saw Grant Holt up against Darren Huckabee, didn't we?
Yes.
In the challenge. I think Grant Holt was 2-1 up in the first half.
Yes.
Let's see how the second half finished.
Let's go.
Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Mate, what chance have I got?
It's 3-1.
Push me. I knew it.
I feel like I've chosen a game that perhaps plays into Grant Holt's strengths.
Can't we just have a running race?
Just a race.
Let's do a 10k.
Do it after. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh no, don't worry. Lay on.
Just broke my ankle. Oh no. Oh no, we're trouble. That's not a bad finish. Oh, great finish.
Oh, 3-2.
Hell of a finish, by the way. Hook could be the only chance I've got is if I stay away from him. Hook could be at his best.
All ready. 3, 2, 1. Oh.
Stop shooting from anywhere. I'm going to try and run past him with a bit of pace. Oh, cheers.
Right, 4-2.
Takes harder than it looks. Hotter than you think.
All ready. 3, 2, 1.
Get what's going to go to.
Oh.
Give it a dog.
There's a bloodbath out here.
Let's go to do surely.
He's up and he's okay.
I'm okay. I'm alright. I'm okay. How long is that?
Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Just over 10 seconds left. Time up.
Time up.
Let's time up.
Jesus Christ.
Off the ball incident, that does not count.
It's just too strong. That'll do. That can do.
Even though you're not in the stadium, the Tampa Bay Halftime Challenge is still on. Visit the website, Norwich City, see what it's all about, look at the terms and conditions and explain everything. Get involved for that fantastic opportunity to go to Tampa Bay with your family for the best holiday you're ever going to have. Good luck everyone, sign up.
I think I can explain it a little bit more than Holty can there, as he did at the end. Just sign up. It's not just as easy as that, but go to canaries.co.uk/commercial/Tampa time for your chance to win a holiday to Tampa Bay. Rob, that looked hard work.
Yeah, no, we got to have a go.
Do you fancy me and you?
Yeah, me and
Look,
you.
that's a bit of a mismatch, isn't it?
There goes you.
I'll get destroyed, won't I?
You won't, mate. I'll take it easy. Don't worry about it.
Hard work, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
You looked blowing in that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hugs was up against it there, big time. You know what I mean? There was a serious lack of weight difference there, wasn't there? But they were blowing, weren't they? They were blowing. No, we'll give it a miss.
It's tough. Right, into the second half, Rob.
Yep.
Big 45 minutes for Norwich. To say they haven't got that win at home yet this season, but they've shown enough again today. But they don't want to get caught with the sucker punch as they did against Derby. But Birmingham haven't got a Wayne Rooney, have they? So you'd hope in terms of a free kick they haven't got that specialist, but they've had one or two kind of sneaky chances to maybe go on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like they're relying on the counter attack, and like I say, the counter they're getting like bodies forward as well. And like I say, they've had a couple of corners. You know, I mean, you just want to be prepared to defend when you have to defend. You know what I mean? But hopefully going forward now offensively, they've had some decent chances, 2 or 3 chances. But I'd like to see them like create more. Like I say, put more balls in from deep. But like I say, it's there to win. Norwich are going to be the only team that scores in open play. But they're trying to create the perfect goal at the moment. You know what I mean? Sometimes a good long ball into the big striker because he's playing for that reason. You know what I mean? And then just pick up the pieces around it.
I think it's been 77% possession for Norwich. I mean that says it all, doesn't it? I mean that's a massive percentage, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And like I say, 13 against 4 shots it looks as well. And like I say, Birmingham will be happy. Norwich will be looking at it saying, well, I mean, we've had all this possession. How many chances have we created? Not enough. You know what I mean? 2 shots on target against 0. You know what I mean? So they've got to keep doing the same, but just mix it up a bit.
And how do they do that then? Is it change of personnel? Do they keep the same team? No. Does Daniel Farke change much at half time? Is it more like it was against Derby, continue to do the same things? Same messages?
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I just think they need to deliver more direct balls from further out. You know what I mean? Because they're unchallenged here. You know what I mean? And put pressure, balls into the box, the diagonals. Hugo's a big, powerful lad. He'll win his headers. Definitely win his headers. Worst scenario is a defender will head it, but he won't be getting 20, 30 yards on the header. He'll be getting 5 and 10 yards. So that's when you get it, and that's when things are created. The only other thing I think that was evident in the first half, that Birmingham got a bit tired at the end. So that might be like the reason why Norwich had a few chances towards the end, that little link-up play, because they can do it. They can do it. So maybe another reason, keep playing the same, Birmingham will get tired, and if Norwich keep playing the intricate football, they might get in a few more times.
And have they used Hugo to his best? Because they've put a few early balls into the box for him, for his height and his strength. They've not done that quite so much in the latter part of the first half.
No, absolutely. You mean, you say to Hugo, how many balls have they got to think, and they've lifted it up to the far post? Not many. They've whipped a few balls in, but is that Hugo's game? Yeah, I mean, probably not. I mean, he wants them up. He wants to attack the ball at the far post.
Yeah, brilliant. For now, Robs, thanks again. And my fault at the start of the game, you cannot buy an iFollow pass if you're not a season ticket holder. But join us again after the game when hopefully Norwich pick up the 3 points.
I've been swimming at night. She's been calling to me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she been underwater in the Indian Sea. I've been doing it right. Can't forget what you said. When you finish with you, baby, you should come and find me in the Sea of Cortez. No way out, my heart is the way out the sea. Never come, and I know, There's a blanket of cool water. She's been cultivated in the space in between. Could be chasing a ghost, another crease in the waves. With all the truth in my blue colors, she just gave me something I could never replace. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. Something I could never replace. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. facing backwards again. Slowly, I feel like we're going backwards again. Turning so slowly, we're facing backwards again. She been calling on me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she been underwater in the Indian Sea. I've been doing it right. Can't forget what she said. When you're finished with you, babe, you should come and find me in the Sea of Cortez. The way that my heart is, the way that the sea. She been living a dream. There's a blanket of cool water. She been cultivated in the space in between. Could be chasing a ghost, another crease in the waves. With all the truth in my blue colors, she just gave me something I could never replace. The way that my heart is, the way that the sea. Something I could never replace. The way that my heart is, the way that the sea. slowly, I feel like we're going backwards again. You're turning so slowly, we're facing backwards again. So slowly, I feel like we're going backwards again. You're turning so slowly, we're facing backwards again.
Well, sometimes there are certain players that score against certain teams. Mario Vrancic scored against Birmingham the last time we played him, and again today from the substitutes bench, gets the vital, massive win for Norwich City. The first home win since, I think, February, Rob, behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I mean, a big result for Norwich, wasn't it? And look, no more than they deserve, but when you've had previous results like they have against Derby here, where that hasn't quite come off and they've lost late on, that will sit in the players' minds, won't it? In the manager's mind. Is it going to come? Is it going to come?
Yeah.
And like we said against Derby, it always felt it was going to come, and finally it did today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They believe in the way they play. They kept on playing that way, and I mean, no coincidence. Birmingham went down to 10 men. 2 minutes later, I mean, that one person that had been taken out of Birmingham's side, there might have been a bit more space. I mean, the centre forward came back. He lost the ball. But what was good about it is that Wendy had gotten the ball and he looked forward and he released the pass quickly. You know what I mean? And either had a touch, but Vrancic, what I liked about him, he was just so positive about it. So positive. There was no other thought in his mind. I'm in a position now, I'm going to shoot. You know what I mean? And maybe some of the other players should take note of that rather than try and get the perfect goal.
Well, is it a case as well? Vrancic gets inside the 18-yard box, takes one touch when he shoots. Yeah. You know, rather than trying to take that touch and then finish like a few players have done for Norwich this evening. He takes it, he hits it. Once he gets opportunity, puts his foot through it. It goes through a couple of players' legs. Doesn't matter, does it?
No, absolutely. And when we were watching the game, we said that there was like so many intricate passes and whatever like, and then you think, well, one extra long pass. You didn't need that extra pass. Have a shot. You're 18, 19 yards away. Centre of the goal. Anything can happen, and that was a good thing about Vrancic. There was nothing in his mind now. I've got an opportunity. I'm just going to strike this, and it was a great strike.
And they took Hugel off and brought Ida on, and he did his usual kind of stuff. But we were saying, is that losing another dimension to Norwich's play? But actually, as you said, tonight it was the right thing to do because they continued to play the same way, and they got the result they deserved in the end. Yeah, absolutely. You got to sort of feel sorry for Hugel because he's on the pitch for that physical presence. And Norwich never really played to the physical presence. They weren't putting long balls from diagonals like we said at half time you need to do. So it was right to take Hugel off, bring out Darren Eadie on, and from the first instance he was on, he was darting little runs in behind the defence. And if Norwich were continuing to play that way, it was the correct substitution, I believe. So it's very much as if Norwich back in the Championship when they won the Championship the previous season, the one before last, the amount of possession stats they had, I think we can see them in a minute, possession stats for Norwich tonight must have been huge. I think it's close to half time. It was like 77-23, and it won't be too far off at the end. But like you say, they believe in keeping the ball. But at the end, there's got to be an end product. And for all the percentage play today, did they make enough chances? Probably not. But they got the goal in the end. Everyone will be happy. It's what was needed. They needed this win. It was so important to get this win. Yeah. And here we can see the possession. That's 74% to 26, Rob. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, it's in a competitive game within the Championship, you don't often see stats that high, do you? No, absolutely. I mean, like I say, and a lot of it, that percentage play, Birmingham City were behind the ball. But 22 shots as well. But have you seen the keeper really work that difficult for Birmingham tonight? He made a save from Cantwell in the first half. I don't think he made a save in the second half. You know what I mean? It was like shots going wide, like long shots because of frustration really. But, you know what I mean, the all important was Birmingham won't care about that, but Birmingham's conceded the goal. Birmingham will be upset that they had a man sent off. Rightly or wrongly, it was a tough yellow card, but nowadays more of an orange. Yeah, more of an orange. But like you say, when that man went off, their game plan went out the window and they were 4 minutes away from coming for what they wanted because they just wanted their draw tonight. And Kroenke was complaining when the sending off, he wanted to make a substitution straight away. The ref didn't let him, which then resulted in the goal happening. Has he got an argument to no, I don't think so. You mean, like I said, at the end of the day, the decision was made. It takes like 2 or 3 minutes for the boy to go off, so why leave it until the end? As soon as they knew he was coming off, the referee's never going to change his mind. Get him stripped straight away, so he can come on. You know what I mean? But they should still go back. It should still be like 2 banks of 4 with the striker coming back as well. So that was good. It was unlucky on Birmingham because they came for a game plan, but it was fantastic for Norwich because overall I think their play deserved to win because they were the only side looking to win. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
the goal change. Obviously, goal changes matches. If that goal scored in the first half, Norwich go on and win like 3 and 4.
Are we going to see that a lot this season? The way Birmingham approached the game tonight here at Carrow Road, teams coming sitting back and trying to hit Norwich on the break essentially. Because Norwich haven't come up against anything really defensively tonight, an attacking sense from Birmingham. Are they going to get more of that during the season when they come up against a team that has got more of an attacking threat? I mean, surely they can't continue to play that way, Norwich.
You look at the Championship, and I think anyone from probably 6 downwards will come and play like this because they're seed away. Norwich are playing one way. They like to play the football. They like possession football. Listen, we don't care how many possessions you have, but when we get it, Norwich have to be careful on the counter attacks. Against better teams than Birmingham, counter-attacks will hurt you.
And Norwich didn't have any problem scoring goals in the Championship last time. They conceded a few, but they also scored a lot of goals as well. Not quite firing on all cylinders at the moment in terms of goal scoring.
No, what's worrying that the strikers are not getting the chances. Today, I think Todd Cantwell had probably 3 of the best chances. You know what I mean, out of the five real chances they had, he had about 3 or 4 of them. So the worrying thing is that the strikers are not getting the chances. But like you say, they're going to come up against 2 banks of 4 and 5 every week against the lesser teams. They've got to find out a way to breach that wall.
And the midfield too of Skip and Rupp tonight. I mean, you know, we're probably his harshest critics at times last season. Rupp, as a lot of Norwich fans were as well. But actually, is it the partnership he's got with Skip that enables him to be a better player he's shown this season, or is it just taking him a bit of time to settle in?
Yeah, no, I think he did okay on the ball today. He was sort of like quite positive, wanted to get forward and whatever, like, but especially in the second half, you mean Wendy was having to drop back like into their areas to pick up the ball under no pressure. But what Wendy was doing is what we said at half time, more direct balls. They were straight balls. They should be more diagonal. But I think that's what you need. But I think Ship and Rupp could do that. And then Wendy is further up the pitch to get those second balls and whatever. Yeah. But I think as a pair, they look quite solid. The 2 centre-halves look really solid today. But they were up against one person, one opponent for the majority of the game. But you've still got to cope with their counter-attacks. They were ready. They were to deal with any balls that were coming out, and I thought they were strong tonight.
Yeah, and we're going to have a look at the table because Norwich have shifted right up there as well. They see they've moved into 7th tonight. Reading are still playing, and I believe they are winning. So as it stands, they're 1-0 up at the moment. That's as it stands. Norwich in 7th at the moment, but a big move up the table from them, from 16th into there, and they're right in it, aren't they? I mean, it's so early on in the season, but you know, what are they? They're an equal points with 6th, so you know, 1 point away from being into 3rd.
That's a good position. You know what I mean? Like we said today, a win was more or less important today following the Rotherham game. Wickham at home on Saturday, I don't think they've got a point this year in the Championship. And then they've got Brentford away, which is a tough game, but Brentford are not even on that picture in the top 10. So obviously they're, I think, suffering from a hangover from last year. Listen, they win the next 3 games, they'll find themselves top of the table, I'm sure of it.
And is that the case now before Christmas? Lots of games, lots of turnover now. They want to be... Well, where do you want to be come Christmas time? Of course, you want to be right near the top, but is it about staying in touch with that top 6 and making sure you're in the hunt?
Got to be in and around the top 3 or 4. I feel. Pookie looks as though he's gone off with a injury today, maybe a hamstring, so that could be like a blow for him. But you've got Eadie, and that's where Eadie comes into play. Then you know what I mean, that's why you've got to have a good squad. Norwich City have got a very good squad. You know what I mean, you look at the subs tonight, the ones that came on, and the ones that didn't come on. They would probably get in any other Championship side. So they're in a good place in terms of squad wise. They've got their first win at home this season, so that monkey's off their back and whatever. Like, so let's go on to Wickham now, and then Brentford and Millwall. Great little batch of games coming up, and I feel Norwich get 9 points from them. Like you say, they'll be up near the top.
Positive as always, Rob.
Absolutely.
I think I'm right to be. Away win, home win, and it's Wickham next weekend here at 2:30 live at Carrow Road. We'll see you then.